Hey, how's everyone doing? Jared here. Coming in at just $250 to $300 depending on where you look is the UMI Z Pro, or UMI Z Pro for the Americans. So why would you get the UMI Z Pro over some other budget Chinese phones? Well, for starters, on the rear we've got dual 13 megapixel cameras from Sony, and on the front we've got an additional 13 megapixel camera from Samsung with the addition of a front-facing flash. It also comes with 32 gigs of internal storage with the option to expand with the micro SD card slot. It's also got 4 gigs of RAM and the MediaTek Helio X27 deca-core CPU, which last time I checked is actually worldwide 4G LTE compatible. At least it is here in Canada. We're looking at a 5.5-inch 1080p LCD display from Sharp. It's got a fingerprint reader on the front, USB-C on the bottom, and a 3780 mAh battery. It is an all-metal unibody design, and it comes in one color, which is this, in my opinion, pretty cool looking gunmetal gray. Overall, I like the plain, simplistic look of it, even if it does look like 1,000 other Chinese phones out there. And as I mentioned before, this does come with that 5.5-inch 1080p LCD display by Sharp, and as much as I hate this pun, lines are sharp. Blacks are really black and inky, surprisingly black and inky. Colors are great, saturation is great. Sharp makes some wicked mobile displays. Now the fingerprint reader to me so far has been really great. I feel like it is a slightly higher quality fingerprint reader than what we usually see in Chinese phones. Now while the fingerprint reader is fast, I did want to point one thing out though. While the display is off and you go to use the fingerprint reader to unlock it, there's a bit of a delay versus when the screen's on, you go to unlock it, it's just as fast as my LG G6 or any other phone for that matter. Now the Z Pro does come with Android 6.0 out of the box. UMI promises there's going to be an Android 7.0 over-the-air update in the near future. When that's going to be is anybody's guess. But overall, this is stock Android with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 menu items. So if you like stock Android, hey. As far as performance goes, it's been excellent. I don't even like discussing performance with modern day devices because they're all phenomenal, but 4 gigs of RAM and the new Helio X27 deca-core CPU is packed into this guy, which as far as I'm aware is the most beastly mobile CPU to come out of China to date. It's so good, it's so fast, did it again. The dual 13 megapixel cameras from Sony are actually pretty sweet, and you can do some pretty cool things with them, like jumping in a bokeh mode so you can take some cool depth of field pictures, though I noticed that there's still some bugs that they need to work out, as I found some artifacts and glitches in the background of photos, and sometimes things that are supposed to be in focus just aren't. But I think my favorite dual camera feature is the Monochrome Mode, which essentially is a black and white photo, but it's not just any black and white photo, it actually brings out detail that would otherwise be lost in a color photo. It also has Pro Manual Mode, so you can take some pretty tuned photos if you want to, which is something you don't often see in Chinese budget phones. But overall, photo quality is actually really good when compared to other devices in the same price range. And it does record 4K video, though the quality of it is not quite up to my standards. Now, that front-facing 13 megapixel camera from Samsung actually takes some really nice quality selfies. Sometimes it looks a little bit over-processed, like it's a little bit too sharp, and I noticed the HDR mode kind of sucks on it, but the Beautify mode actually worked pretty good once you bump it down below a couple of notches. I'm so pretty, oh so pretty. Sometimes when I'm by myself, I get carried away. So it comes with a 3780 mAh battery. It does have quick charging, however, it's UMI's proprietary quick charging, so you have to use the charging brick that comes in the box, otherwise no joy. And seeing as it comes with an international plug, that doesn't exactly help me out a whole lot. But while doing my battery test, which is watching Netflix at 100% display brightness over Wi-Fi, it squeezed out 5.5 hours of screen on time, which I think is actually pretty good. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the single mono speaker on the bottom, which actually gets quite loud and is really clear, but the problem is it lacks any mid-tones, which in my opinion is what makes up a good mono speaker. And when it's loud enough, it seems to hit these high frequencies that kind of make my eardrums flutter, which I don't like. But yeah, having said all that, I think this is a phenomenal phone for the price. I mean, you get dual 13 megapixel cameras from Sony, a front-facing 13 megapixel camera from Samsung, a 1080p LCD display from Sharp, pretty damn decent fingerprint reader, the beastly Helio X27, 4 gigs of RAM, and a 3780 mAh battery. Yeah, I'd recommend this, but I think that about does it for this one. As always, I'll have a link in the description down below so you can pick one of these up for yourself if you wanted. And if you liked the video, show me some love by hitting up that like button. And if you're new to my stuff, don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Cheers.